We've got some breaking news on today's show, and let's be honest, probably the news most of you were looking to hear today, and that is that Mike Vrabel and the Titans have fired offensive coordinator Todd Downing. So we're going to talk about this early replacement idea, but tune back in tomorrow for a full replacements of Todd Downing video. Also, we got some GM buzz and tracker news at the end of today's show. But this is about time, right? We all saw this coming. Let's be honest. Todd Downing was horrible. And I don't think you'd find anyone who would really argue otherwise. He was promoted within after Arthur Smith was hired by the Falcons, and it was clearly just an obvious case of not the right man for the job. And we see this in time to time in the NFL. Like this year alone, like Nathaniel Hackett, clearly not an NFL head coach. Todd Downing, clearly not an offensive coordinator. The Titans' offense this year was putrid. And a lot of injuries, I get that, but at the end of the day, it seemed like he never was able to roll with the punches. I go back to that Titans-Chiefs game with Malik Willis starting, and it didn't seem like the play calling and the overall game plan was designed for a rookie quarterback. He was asking him to make some really difficult throws that he couldn't make. So for these, I don't have to read them out loud. We know how ugly it is. Passing yards that was really the Achilles heel this year. 30th in terms of moving the ball through the air. It's 2022. Derrick Henry's great. I love that bread and butter, but you have to be able to pass the ball better than 30th in the NFL here. So what is your one-word reaction to Todd Downing being fired? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Give me your one-word reaction. I've got my one word. I'll give it to you right after this. My one word, Kingsbury. If I could expand on it, Kliff Kingsbury. The Cardinals just fired him today, and I got to imagine he's going to be on the interview list for the Titans, right? I know that he sort of failed upwards in his career, and if you just look at his record and his stats, it doesn't actually on paper look like an obvious candidate, but he definitely knows how to manufacture a good offense, and the Titans need some creativity, some spunk, some spice, right? Everything nice. They need some juice in this offense. That was sorely lacking this year. It was stale. It was dry. You know what it was like? It was sort of like when Lincoln Riley posted a picture of his brisket in black and white. That was the Titans' offense this year. And Kliff Kingsbury will come in, and he will rejuvenate it, and he will spice things up a little bit. Tomorrow's video will be a full-on Todd Downing replacements vid, so tune in for that. Kliff Kingsbury definitely going to be a name to watch for here. Now, it was not just Todd Downing who got the pink slip and got the exit slip from Nashville today. No, seems like the Titans really took Black Monday to heart, and they ended the year on a massive losing streak, and changes had to be made here. So it was not just Downing, right? Davenport tweeting out, Titans have fired offensive coordinator Todd Downing, offensive line coach Keith Carter, secondary coach Anthony, I don't want to get fired like Downing did today, so I'm not going to say that last name in case I get canceled, and offensive skills assistant Eric Frazier. So a big change going on in Tennessee today as 4 coaches were fired from their post because the Titans in the second half of the year, I mean, I'm a full-on clown right now. I fully expected them to run away with the AFC South. And here we are right now talking about a team not in the postseason here. So with that, I also want to show this tweet to you because I thought it was pretty important. John Glennon tweeting out, Vrabel said has had conversations with Amy Adams Strunk, I beg your pardon, about the new GM. When Robinson got fired, I thought it was a bit of an overreaction to one bad game against the Eagles, but it was clear Vrabel did not want to trade A.J. Brown. Robinson wanted to, I don't know what he wanted. It was a really dumb trade. We can all agree on that. And Vrabel won, right? So I would expect Vrabel to be a part of this GM search because he is the figurehead of this team, right? And the Titans, they have requested a lot of interviews for their vacant GM position. So we're going to run through the names of personnel they would like to interview for their next GM. And let's be honest, no one knows about up-and-coming director of player personnels in the NFL. So we'll catch you guys up to speed on this here. And starting with this from Ian Rappaport. The Titans have requested permission to interview Cardinals Vice President of Player Personnel, Quentin Harris, for their vacant GM job. I always love GM searches, GM hot boards, because No one knows who any of these people are. I was not sitting at home going, you know who's a good hire? That one guy in Arizona. Not the president. Give me the vice president. He's up and coming. But let's get to know Quentin Harris here. He's been with the Arizona Cardinals 15 years in the scouting department, 2 years of VP and player personnel, 6 years as director in pro scouting. Now, I want to forewarn you. Don't judge GM candidates based on he was with the Cardinals, how have the Cardinals drafted. That's not a good way to evaluate. One, the draft is always a crapshoot for all 32 NFL teams. Two, he's the VP, right? We don't know which players he wanted to draft, which ones he was overruled on, who he would have drafted as GM. So don't overreact to, oh, the Cardinals, they stink at drafting, or whatever team. I don't want that guy. No, this is a case where you are hiring a person more than, what have you done for the Cardinals, right? What have you done for the Titans that's resulted in wins? This is one of those, it's more than just stats. It's about hiring an actual person behind what your offense ranked when you were there here. Now, we're going to be back tomorrow, like I said, when a new offensive coordinator is hired, plus with replacements leading up to that point. So subscribe today. We're going to keep you guys covered on all the buzz, who Tennessee is going to be interviewing for this vacant offensive coordinator job, plus the GM. So a lot of news and a lot of buzz around your Tennessee Titans. You're going to want to stick it right here and subscribe to the channel. Let's go over to this tweet now from Davenport, who said, as the convo regarding the Titans GM search intensifies, another name that should be mentioned is Director of Pro Scouting, Brian Gardner. He is in his 6th season with the Titans. Gardner represented the Titans in inaugural NFL Coach and Front Office Accelerator Program. Again, another household name, of course. But I do like the idea of promoting within. It didn't work out for Downing. We know that. But this is a Titans organization that's got its head on its shoulders, right? That produces well-coached and, good personnel decision makers, in my opinion. So I don't hate the idea of looking within, looking what you have in your own backyard first, and then going outside. We've got more names to look at in just a second, but today's show is brought to you by BetUS. When you go to chatsports.com/bet and you use promo code CHAT125, there's no Titans games to bet on, but we do have some Super Bowl odds, some AFC, NFC wildcard matchups this upcoming weekend. I am jumping in bed with Cowboys -2.5. The Bucs stink. Don't overthink it. Take the Cowboys, and if you're wrong, I'll see you in the comments section on Tuesday. Let's go on to this next tweet coming in from Nick Wagner. Head coach Kyle Shanahan confirms that Denver put in a head coaching interview request for a defensive coordinator, DeMeco Ryans. Okay, we don't care about that part. But the Titans put in GM interview requests for Adam Peters and Ran Carthon. Now, I don't know who these guys are, but I can tell you this much. If you're coming from the San Francisco 49ers, I'm in. The 49ers are just one of the best run organizations in football. Even when they're bad, it seems like their turnaround is so much quicker than everyone else's. Let's start with Adam Peters, though. So, Adam Peters, 20 years in the NFL. He's been the VP player personnel for 4 years with San Francisco. He was with the Broncos for 8 years beforehand, and he's been a national scout for 3 years. So, a good thing to keep in mind when you're looking at these GM vacancies and targets and whatnot is, hey, which tree do they come up, right? Do they come up the national scouting tree, which is, hey, we want to build through the draft? Or is it maybe more so of the personnel, right? I want to build through free agency and trade. Looks like he's checking both boxes, which is a good thing to see in a candidate here. Now, Ran Carthon, Director of Pro Personnel with the Rams for 5 years. He was a pro scout for the Falcons for 4 seasons and 3 years playing with the Carolina Panthers. So he's got that player background. He knows what it's like to be in a locker room and what it takes to have a successful locker room. So both great candidates in my opinion here. Another name to watch for coming from Rap Sheet. Bills Senior Director of Pro Personnel, Malik Boyd, will interview for the vacant Titans GM job. He has a great reputation. I know nothing about Malik Boyd other than he's got a great reputation, and if you're coming from the Bills, you probably know a thing or two about winning. I know I just said take this name and separate it from the person, but when they come from a good team, then break that rule, right? Then it fits your narrative. Now, Malik Boyd's career looks like this. scouting assistant for the Colts for 2 seasons. He was also a scout with the Cardinals, so this is definitely as someone you're looking at, director of pro scouting, and then player of pro personnel with the Bills for 5 years. Who knows a thing or two about the draft, right? And that's what the Titans really lacked in. That was GM Jon Robinson's probably biggest shortcoming, other than just trading A.J. Brown, was he just couldn't quite hit on those first-round picks. So Malik Boyd, definitely someone that's going to come in if he were to be hired, and I bet his introductory press conference would look something like, we're going to build through the draft, right? That's what scouting background GMs like to do here. Now let us know, who do you want the next Titans GM to be? The best candidate, of course, is yourself, but if you've got another name in mind, let me know in the comments section. I appreciate everyone for tuning in to this edition of Titans Today. We'll keep you up to date and at the front lines for everything related to the Titans OC search and GM search. So stick it right here and subscribe today.